Hey ghouls and gals, welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor and today's video is going to be my September TBR, and I think we can all agree that, you know, I've been celebrating like all summer long, but September I feel is officially the start of spooky season. We're getting into creating some autumnal TBRs, and I am just really excited. I don't do TBRs every single month, but for this one I have so many reading plans and just new releases and books that I want to prioritize and read this month. I figured we'll do a little TBR. It is a little ambitious. It's all not going to be read, I'm sure, because I'm a mood reader, but I do have some books that I would love to prioritize in this upcoming month. So let's just go ahead and talk about some of the books that I'm looking forward to reading. So the first book that I'm planning on reading in September is Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas, and I am currently rereading every single book that Sarah J. Maas has ever written because I am preparing for the third book in the Crescent City series that comes out in January. If you know, you know. I'm reading every single book, so I've already read the first couple books in this Throne of Glass series. Once I finish it, I'm gonna move on to ACOTAR, then Crescent City, and then hopefully I'll have good timing so I can just jump right in to the third book that comes out in January. So this is where I'm at in Throne of Glass. I'm looking forward to it. I think on my first read, this was my favorite book of the series. I also want to pay really close attention to this one upon a reread because the title very similar to the book that's coming out in January. So I am intrigued, invested in the Maasaverse, and looking forward to reading this one. Speaking of long fantasy series, in September I am going to be making a dedicated reading vlog to the Aragon series because I loved the series as a kid. I have not reread the last two books in the series. I've reread this a lot of times, reread Eldest a couple of times, but I'm going to read all four of these. I'm going to read the Fork, the Witch, and the Worm, which I've never read, and then that'll all set me up for reading the brand new book that comes out in November. That's a continuation of the series, so I'm very excited. This series was my introduction as a kid to high fantasy books. This felt like, I think this is classified as YA, but this like felt to me when I was a child reading it, this felt like my first grown-up adult fantasy book, and I just felt so cool reading it. I love the series, so it's gonna be really fun returning back to this world. Planning on doing a full dedicated vlog, catching up. Just thought it would be really fun to dive in and revisit one of my favorite fantasy worlds before the new book in the series comes out. I don't know if it's technically in the series or just like a standoff book in the world. I'm not too sure, but all I do know is that like September is when I start like craving rereads of fantasy series. Like I read huge fantasy books all year long, but September is when, like the fall is when I start craving series that I've already read before, rereads of fantasy series. Like that's what type of fantasy mood that I tend to be in, so I think this is coming at the perfect time. Can't wait to revisit this world. Next up is actually another series that I just got all three of the books in from the library, and I'm very excited to read it. I don't know if I'm going to do a dedicated vlog to this series or just kind of read them throughout the month, so let me know if you'd like to see a dedicated vlog because I can absolutely do one for this series. But that is going to be Carissa Broadbent's The War of Lost Hearts series, and this first book is Daughter of No Worlds. I've heard it has like Sarah J. Maas vibes. I think it was Olivia Reads a Latte that put this one on my radar. We tend to have very similar taste in YA/NA romantasy books, so I am intrigued in this series. I haven't heard too much about it. I don't know what the premise is, just the cover, super cool. We got a badass female character on the front, so I'm excited. So let me know if you'd like to see a dedicated reading vlog for this series. There's 3 books in the series. I have all 3. I can absolutely do that, or I'll pace them out throughout the month and just read, you know, one a week. So let me know. Looking forward to this one as well. Now obviously it would not be a Herbivore Haunts video. It would not be a Taylor TBR. It would not be a September spooky season TBR without me talking about some horror. This one really depends more on library holds and what books I have access to, and what books that I'm going to decide that I'm going to save for October or not, but definitely going to be reading them. I think like a big thing that I don't have a set TBR for is I would like to read some more dark academia books so that I can compile some book recommendations. I've recently started a 5 in 5 book series where the videos are 5 minutes long down, I give 5 book recommendations based on a specific topic. I do have some books in mind for dark academia. I just like to read a couple more and make sure that maybe I could do even like 2 lists and just give a lot of dark academia book recs out, because it's September, the start of, like, I know a lot of schools start in August now, but really it's like the start of a new school season. And I know that while dark academia is like popular year round, I feel like a lot of people are gonna be craving it. September, October, November, I feel like that's like high season to read those. So I do plan on reading some of those, and I do want to make the videos where it's not just like books we've all heard of. I want to kind of cover some lesser known dark academia books, so definitely be on the lookout for those. Just in terms of content, I plan on having a lot of dark academia content this month and next month, but then for horror books that I know that I'm absolutely going to get to in September, the first one is going to be Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Canas, and this one I'm saving because I love my mom. That's the only reason I haven't read this one yet, but this is our book club pick for September. Me and my mom have a book club. It was supposed to be a family book club, but she's the only one who's stuck with me to do it. So if any other members of my family are watching this, you can read this book this month and be a part of our club. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I love The Hacienda by this author, and this one is about vampires. I love vampires. I know I love this author's writing, so I can't wait to buddy read this with my mom. I just absolutely cannot wait to dive in. So this is Vampires and Vaqueros face off on the Texas-Mexico border in this supernatural western from the author of La Hacienda. So yeah, I'm very excited. I've been holding off waiting for this, but this is probably gonna be like a September 1st pickup read for me. I'm gonna start reading it as soon as I can. And then another book that I've been seeing so much hype for, Mother Horror specifically on Instagram has mentioned that this book actually has kept her up at night and is like very scary. So that's really a ringing endorsement for this book for me, but I'm very excited to pick up The Handyman Method by Nick Cutter and Andrew F. Sullivan. I've read from Nick Cutter before, really enjoyed his work. Haven't read anything from the other author, but this is like haunted house horror, one of my favorite subgenres of horror, and I've heard it's very horrific. So yes, I can't wait to dive into this one. Definitely going to be like the perfect spooky season read. I wanted to save it for October, but this is also one where I cannot wait. I just want to dive in as soon as possible. So that is the last like definitive book that I have on my TBR. Very ambitious. I think I can do it. We'll see. Obviously there's going to be more things added in, maybe taking some of those off. Very excited for the Burr months to start. I saw that like on Twitter, like the September, October, November, December. Very excited for this part of the year. I'm feeling very optimistic about my September reads and looking forward to this reading month to come. But that is going to be it for this video. If you liked it, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're reading in September. Subscribe to my channel for all the cozy gaming and reading content. Stay safe, stay spooky, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!